All right, gentlemen, next item on our agenda is public comments on agenda items other than development or rezoning applications. Does anyone in attendance have any questions or comments for the board regarding today's agenda? Okay. Next item is approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the October 26, 2021 regular meeting minutes? Or any questions or comments on the minutes?
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next is approval of the bills. Any questions or comments on this week's payment batch register? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next is bids and quotations. First is the Asbury and Bell Valley Athletic Field resurfacing change order number 1 from Parks and Recreation and also Engineering. Is that Mr. Waldinger, Mr. Ouellet? Who would like to?
I can handle that, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Good morning. Yes, this is just a closeout of the contract with Lindy Paving for the improvements that were done to Asbury and Bell Valley. It is actually a deduction from their original bid. There was 19 millimeter binder course quantity asphalt paving that was not used as part of the original base bid. That amount totals $14,752. So the original contract with Lindy was in the amount of $71,159.50. With this deduction, that will bring the final contract price to $56,407.50. This was paid for from the Parks and Recreation budget, and I would recommend accepting this change order and deduction from the final contract.
Thank you, Mr. Waldinger. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, is there a motion to approve change order number 1?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next is modem router units and antennas for the Mill Creek Police Department. Seems like they all
Chief
have-
Height? Oh, okay. It's
I mean,
okay.
we excused his crew. I don't know if we excused him.
I don't think we did, but
Why don't you
Anyway.
get him? Or tell him to bring
no,
some,
let him enjoy his
bring some cookies back
his
for us?
reception. I'll handle
All
this. Okay, Chief Height is requesting approval for the purchase of 17 Cradle Point modem router units and antennas from AT&T FirstNet for $8,297.53. The funds will be reimbursed by a grant award from the Department of Justice. These are for the patrol vehicles, and it is due to their end of life. And this will provide a more stable platform. I will put that request from the chief in the form of a motion.
It's nice of you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Hey, patrol car computers. What do you got on that?
Yes, so kind of the same deal, end of life computers. Requesting approval for the purchase of 2 ruggedized Dell Latitude 7220 computers from Velocity Network for a total cost $5,198. The purchase would be under CoStar's contract number 003-445. That will be coming out of the maintenance and repairs portion of the police budget. Correct, Mark?
Correct.
Okay. And this is through VNet.
Okay.
Make a motion in that regard.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Next item is engineering services for sewer control system. Mr. Snyder?
Good morning, gentlemen. Sewer Revenue is seeking permission to have process and data automation create a program for our triplex pump stations to run correctly. Sewer Revenue is in the middle of upgrading the controllers for all the pump stations so they all have the same type of controls. We have a program for running a pump station with 2 pumps, but need this program to run a station with 3 pumps. The individual that made up the first program is no longer in the business, so this requires us to look elsewhere. Sewer Revenue has used PDA in the past, and they have done an exceptional job for us. Their quote for this job is not to exceed $5,000. The monies would come from Sewer Revenue Capital Equipment Budget, line item number 810, with a starting balance of $132,203, minus the quote of $5,000 would leave a balance of $127,203. This is for professional services, so this is the reason for just the one quote. And it would be my recommendation to enter into a contract with Process and Data Automation for $5,000, not to exceed $5,000.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Any questions or comments from the board?
Not here.
All right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Next item is more ruggedized laptops, looks like. So, Mr. Snyder.
Fleet Maintenance is seeking permission to purchase one Panasonic Toughbook to place all of their diagnostic software on to be able to troubleshoot the trucks and equipment. This unit would be going from one piece of equipment to another, and also into their service truck and out in the field for breakdowns to do diagnostics. This unit was designated by John Fleming, our IT manager, because of its ruggedized type. This would be purchased from Connection Public Sector Solutions for the cost of $4,988.32. The monies would come from Fleet Maintenance's capital budget under the line item of brake lathe. There is $12,000 in the budget, minus the $4,988.32, would leave a balance of $7,011.68. It would be my recommendation to purchase the Panasonic Toughbook for fleet maintenance, for $4,988.32.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. Any questions or comments from the board? All right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Next item is ordinance 2021-12, an ordinance of the Township of Mill Creek, Erie County, Pennsylvania, establishing traffic control devices, i.e. stop signs, at the intersections of Lehigh Street and Greenwood Street and High Street, and Oakland Street and High Street in Mill Creek Township. Mr. Shaw?
Yes, this is an ordinance that's recommended to the board for these three streets. Each of these streets tees into another street, and so stop signs are going to be placed at each of these streets. Lehigh Street tees into Greenwood Street, and both Greenwood Street and Oakland Street tee into High Street. So the recommendation, based upon an engineering and traffic study, was to install stop signs at these locations for public safety.
Just for clarification, guys, are we saying that there's no traffic control at these intersections currently, or are we turning into a three-way stop instead of a current one-way stop?
Mr. Chairman, there's no control at the intersections right now.
Fascinating. All right. Any questions or comments besides what?
None here.
We have a resident that, he could speak at the end maybe, or?
I mean, technically, you're supposed to at the top of the agenda, but since we're a little light today, you can come on up. What do you want?
I am for the stop signs.
Need you to state your name and address for the record, please.
Dennis McAndrew. I live on 1547 High Street.
Okay.
Where these, which is good, the stop signs, but there's several stop signs in that area that make no sense currently, and those intersections don't have stop signs, so it's kind of I understand that, but how did we figure, like, right now you can come up Green Garden, which has the right of way on High Street, and there's stop signs on High. So you make a left or right because it dead ends. People come up Green Garden and are like, oh my God, the road stops, when they fly around the corner. And there's been almost several accidents in that area. Then the other areas where you're talking where there aren't stop signs, and then there's one stop sign that's literally a car length long on Lehigh, running towards West Gore. So you stop, go ahead and you stop, and like a lot of the stop, there's no rhyme or reason. They just seem to be randomly stuck through the neighborhood. Maybe this is good, but maybe we need to figure out a better study and figure out because what's going on, is you're getting everyone using High Street as a shortcut through that neighborhood now because of all the development from Lecom.
Hmm.
And so you're getting people going, through there quite fast. So I think though that the stop signs are good, but maybe should be reviewed a little bit better.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, is there any further comments on the ordinance, as long as we're opening it up? Okay. Any questions or comments from the board?
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion to approve ordinance 2021-12? Is
So moved.
there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item, number 9, new and amended ordinances under review, proposed amendments to zoning ordinance. Mr. Shaw.
Yes, as indicated at the last meeting, the township is contemplating a new zoning ordinance that would revise the existing ordinance, as well as adopt provisions to be consistent with the new comprehensive plan. That will be under consideration for the supervisors at the December 14th, 2021 meeting. It is currently under review by the Planning Commission and the County Planning Departments. There will be a meeting this evening by the Planning Commission, and I do believe it's on their agenda for this evening. So that's where that stands.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Any questions or comments from the board? All right. Next is Resolution 2021-R58, a resolution pursuant to Resolution 2015-R20 in the Municipal Records Manual to approve proposed disposition of certain township records. This is a routine resolution for us to authorize disposition of records. Today, the only records we are being asked to authorize disposition of is Mill Creek Police Department dash cam videos that will reach their required retention period between the dates of November 10th and November 23rd. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, is there a motion to approve Resolution 2021-R58?
I'll make that motion, John.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bach?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is the Highmark Stop Loss Insurance Renewal. Mr. Zaksheske.
Yes, as part of our budgeting process for next year and rate approval, we have a component of the health insurance called stop loss, where we cap the individual cost to the township for any one member and the overall cost for the insurance program. The cost for 2022 for $105,000 stop loss is $241.39 per employee, and the aggregate, that's the total spend for all, both health insurance, the hospitalization, and pharmacy, is $4,805,797 with a cost of $8 per employee per month, for a combined total stop loss rate of $249.39 per employee per month. This is an 11.1% increase from 2021. However, there were no additional bidders on the health stop loss insurance, and increasing the deductible did not result in any sort of significant savings relative to the increased exposure by raising the stop loss deductible. So it's my recommendation to accept the rate of $249.39 per employee per month for the stop loss for 2022.
Thank you, Mr. Zaksheske. Any questions or comments from the board?
None here.
No.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the stop loss.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bach?
I vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is fiscal year 2021 CDBG grant funding agreement. Mr. Waldinger?
Thank you. Yes, in front of you is the township's funding approval agreement with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for our fiscal year 2021 Community Development Block Grant funds. The township is being awarded $242,539 in CDBG funds as an entitlement community for fiscal year 2021. Just to note, that is for money to be spent next year in 2022 in our budget year. I would recommend that the board accept our fiscal year 2021 award and that they designate a member of the board to be authorized to sign the funding approval agreement.
Any questions or comments from the board?
How does this compare with the 2021 funding?
I don't have that figure in front of me, but it's
Okay.
very close. They're very similar.
Okay.
If there's a change, it's very small.
Just curious. Okay, pretty close.
Any other questions or comments?
None here.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the fiscal year 2021 award and authorize a member of the board to have signature authority for the agreement?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Buck?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Next item is New World Dashboard Software Amendment. Who wants to take that one on, folks?
This is a request from the police department. Tyler New World is their software provider. They are decommissioning the Tyler New World dashboard software and replacing it with a performance dashboard. They're doing this at no cost, so it's just accepting the license for the new performance software dashboard as a change order and signing the software license agreement.
Okay. And there's no concern from the IT department on that, Mark?
No.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve the new licensing agreement with New World?
I'll make that motion, John.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Buck?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Next item is streetlight energization request from Asbury Woods Estate Subdivision. I don't know how to pronounce that one, man. Is that Hialeah Court?
Hialeah.
Yep.
Hialeah Court. Who's covering that? Mark?
I will take that.
All right.
This is a request received from recently from a property owner in Hialeah Court to energize the 5 lights on his street. Apparently, when the Phase 4 of the subdivision was installed, Penelec installed the lights, but they were not energized. Because I think the thought was that it was probably be the last portion of the phase that would be developed, and why pay for power for what I think is, at this point, it's been probably about 10 years before it actually started to develop. So the supervisors have the authority under the second-class township code to authorize the installation and energization of the lighting. And the recommendation would be to approve this request and to add these 5 lights to the existing Phase 4 of Asbury Woods Estates to complete that portion of the subdivision from a lighting perspective.
Any questions or comments from the board?
No.
All right. Is there a motion to approve authorizing the energization request?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Buck?
Vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
I vote yes. Communications. Mr. Zaksheske, anything to add today?
Nothing to add today.
All right, thank you, sir. Next, we have a promotion request. I'm happy to cover it unless Mr. Snyder or Mr. Ouellet would like to have a few words about it.
Oh, I'll do it.
Okay.
Sure. Okay, this is a promotion for for a streets foreman position. The recommendation is to promote Charlie Gardner to the streets maintenance foreman. Be effective December 1st of this year at a rate of $32.35 per hour. Charlie's been with the streets department since November of 2011. He's an experienced equipment operator and driver and has been an asset to the Streets Maintenance Bureau. I'll make a motion that we approve this promotion.
Is this due to a retirement, Dan,
It
or
is due to the retirement of Tom Dulesky.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Mr. Bach?
I vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Gary, you want to tell Charlie there's
Cookies?
cookies in the police department if he wants to go snag one for,
I'll give him a call.
what the heck, guys?
Take the whole streets department up,
Yeah, just take, yeah, you know what?
everybody.
Cookies on the police department for Charlie's promotion.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Next item, executive sessions. Just want to report out the board did have executive sessions on October 28th and November 4th to discuss various legal and personnel matters with our executive team. Next is solicitor communications. Mr. Shaw.
Yes, to recall, I believe that the township received on October 1 of 2020 a letter from Township Auditor Ron Wilga advising of his resignation as an auditor pursuant to Section 65407B1 of the second-class Township Code. The Board of Supervisors has 45 days after tender of the resignation to accept Mr. Wilga's resignation. That 45th day falls on November 15th, which obviously does not coincide with any Board of Supervisors meetings. So given the timing, it is recommended that the Board of Supervisors at this time accept Mr. Wilga's resignation. Once his resignation is accepted, the board will have 30 days to fill that vacancy. And if the Board of Supervisors is unable to do so within that 30 days, the vacancy then shall be filled by the vacancy board within 15 days. And then if the vacancy board is unable to fill that within that time period, the chairperson of the vacancy board shall petition the court to fill that vacancy. So once you accept, the board has 30 days to identify a replacement and approve a replacement. So at this time, I would recommend that Mr. Wilga's resignation be accepted.
Any questions or comments from the board?
No, sir.
All right, is there a motion to approve the resignation? Or to accept the resignation?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Buck?
I vote yes.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes, and just want to say we really appreciate Mr. Wilga's time as an auditor and the service he provided to our community, and wish him well. Anything else for the good of the order, folks?
Lydia, anything?
Cheryl?
Citizens to be heard?
Oh, yeah, we're getting there.
What did he say?
Jeez, Matt, you in a hurry?
What did he
Yes,
say?
What the heck?
that's
Was
what I had
Did he
on my
make a
mind.
motion to adjourn? What? What's he doing?
Gary?
Nothing.
Mark? All right. Citizens to be heard. Would anyone care to address the board this morning? All right.
Okay.
Mr. Waldinger, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Or shall we-
Feel free.
Is there a motion to adjourn today?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I will second.
Mr. Buck?
I vote yes on that.
Mr. Ouellet?
I vote yes.
And we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.